Hey everybody, this is Tony.
And this is Paul. We're coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast, where we discuss the ongoing lives and issues of people with developmental disabilities to spark positive change in the field.
And we have a lot of fun doing it.
THS Remote Supports is clearly focused on improving independent living through dynamic and personalized services. Their systems have been carefully developed and perfected to ensure that everyone receives the best care through the least intrusive means possible. Located in Cincinnati, Ohio, they've spent over 20 years providing in-home supports to individuals with disabilities. If you or someone you know is looking for a remote service provider, go to thsrss.com or call 513-882-9088.
Culture is all the time. It does not have to be, oh my God, we have to institute this big program or buy expensive software. We have to issue all these awards and things like that. You've noticed I haven't said anything about gift cards or cash awards or bonuses or anything. I mean, if you can do those as part of it, great, but also I would give a gift card for something really specific and make people understand we appreciate what you're doing. So nothing I've talked about means reaching into your wallets. Try to extend the same kind of supports that you're delivering to the people you support to your staff. It can be easy. If you're lucky enough to be in a shared resource, that's great. But we've talked about things like getting that company Uber or Lyft account to help with transportation. I know some providers have started advancing pay for the first week on training. The other thing is if maybe the person has to go a little bit further to a site to train, gas cards. I've had a provider recently tell me that it's like, wow, I gave him a $25 gas card. You would have thought it was $500, the reaction. Anything you can make it easier for people to get started and succeed. All of these small habits add up. Again, you think about it. When we are supporting a new individual, it's not like an individual we're supporting has immediate trust with the DSP. That's one of the most frustrating things when that DSP leaves, because now that person, they're not going to just bring in the next DSP and instantly have confidence that that person's there to help them and support them. The idea is you want people to feel the impact, that they are part of something bigger than themselves. That's where, too, if people who are normally in administration or executive directors can go out and work shoulder to shoulder with people or just have conversations, it's a lot easier to get people to do something, and I think this sort of alludes to one of the questions in chat. If you convey that feeling, we're all in this together. Tony's willing to do the same work he's asking his DSPs to do. That builds a much better team environment. It just, it's not like, oh, the directives come from on high. No, I'm there to help you. I'm there to support you. I mean, sure, we can all use carrots and sticks to motivate people. You do this, I'll give you a bonus. You don't do this, you're fired. That's not motivation. But if you come down and, hey, this is where we want to end up, and we're going to do everything we can to help you. What can we explain better? How can we do a better job of helping you? Having those kind of open conversations, that's going to make everybody feel we're in this together. We're all working for a common purpose. They'll stay as long as possible. They will also, even if they leave, promote you to friends, family. I think Scott probably mentioned at the last workshop, we talk about if you've got referrals for recruits, having former staff do referrals and even offer them the same cash bonuses. We hear over and over again that former staff are coming back. Oh, wait a minute, you're hiring? Can I have my old job back? Yeah. Or people who are leaving right now with all the money being thrown around. Yeah, Amazon offered me $20 an hour. Trouble is, I was only working 10 hours a week, so it really wasn't all that great. Plus the fact it was misery. Stack that shelf faster, load that truck faster. You drag everybody down, you're going to cost us money. So it's the more you can do. This is your advantage, your superpower, the person-centered perspective. It can be so powerful in retention and culture. So, and this sounds like I'm wrapping up, not quite there yet. Obviously, we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. We're going to have plenty of time for conversation, but there's still a few other things to cover. In summary, you will want, notice I said want to, not need to. You'll want to simplify communication and extend empathy so your new staff doesn't feel overwhelmed. You know, with all the, I think, in one workshop somebody said, oh yeah, the regulating agency came up with a new way to simplify things. The simplification plan was an 83-page document. It's like, that doesn't sound like simplification to me. So find ways so that staff aren't overwhelmed. That ISP example. Use your employee ISPs to help staff even more. That link, there's a link to another thing. It's got a huge list of things other providers are doing, many at little or no extra cost. And just find one habit to nurture your culture. Temperature check. I love happy visits over anything else. I think those are great. It makes you feel good. You hear stories, you're going to share it. So if you start doing all that, you're well on your way to creating your own DSP magnet. So I know what you're thinking. In 45 minutes or so, or half hour, 30 minutes, whatever, we're going back to reality. When you get back to the office, you're going to find a stack of voicemails, emails, fires. Somebody said they can't make the next shift and stuff like that, so you're not sure where or how to get started. I know, done this before, been on your side. So, let's see, did I wear my hat in this morning? I am a big believer, Scott and I are both big believers in imperfect action. You'll notice I have this hat, you probably can't tell them back, DALR. Decide. A, act. Decide is, let's see, decide to start simple. Act with fearless imperfection. Don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make, imperfect action leads to progress. And I'm speaking as a recovering perfectionist. There's nothing perfect in this world. If you wait for the perfect time to do something, nothing will get done. So act with fearless imperfection. The L is learn without ego. Not everything will work. Not everything will work for you. Not everything that works well with one person will work for another person. And then repeat as fast as you can. DALR. Decide to start simple. Act with fearless imperfection. Learn without ego, and repeat as fast as you can. That's something I wish I had in the book. I found out about that after. This comes from a mentor of ours, a great guy named Brad Martineau, who loves helping small entrepreneurs.
Making sure that individuals are reaching the goals they have set for themselves. That's one of the many goals of Assured Health Services. If you're looking for a residential care provider or searching for ADS services, Assured Health is your go-to place. Assured Health, helping others succeed. Learn more at assuredhealthohio.com or call 419-442-8066.
Whose help do you need? I don't expect each and every one of you to do all of this yourselves. So who can you get to help you? And look at it from what can you do in 5 minutes? Maybe that's the call to Uber or Lyft to find out about a corporate account. Maybe it's a call to your insurance provider to find out, do you provide any benefits that we're not aware of besides the obvious? Maybe it's something as simple as booking an appointment with the person you need to help and getting an appointment to discuss it at the end of this week. And what can you do by the end of the week, early next week, to move things forward? One of our peers in a workshop series, in a mastermind series that Scott and I are part of, he has a very simple statement. If you want something to happen, it will show up on your calendar next week. None of you are coming into your office and suddenly finding, wow, I have all day to do whatever, work on something. It's great. Make an appointment with yourself if need be. That's how Scott and I do things. We book appointments to work on a presentation, a new project, improving something. Then let's talk about getting buy-in. How many here are the executive director of your organization? Okay, we got a few. So presumably you don't need buy-in other than convincing yourself. For those of you who aren't the executive director, we found that there's sort of 4 phases to making improvement. You know, there are some people that are willing to just sort of sit with the status quo. Well, that's the way things are. People don't want to work anymore. You know, it's just, we can't pay enough, things like that. Circumstances. There are other people, well, we're aware of the problem. Yeah, it's a real problem. It's like, we're struggling with it, but everybody I talk to, they're struggling. I mean, yeah, we're struggling to hire. You can't go down any street without seeing hiring now, hiring now. But then there's some people who are aware of the problem, but they don't make the affirmative action to fix it. And to fix it, it's real simple. It either is a yes or a no. However, it goes back to the problem aware. What people don't realize is if you're not doing something to fix the problem, there are costs, consequences, and risks to inaction. You all are seeing it. You're living it right now. If you're not doing more for your retention culture, you're losing people. Your existing people are burning out, and eventually you're going to lose some of them too. You know, if you go by the NADSP estimate, losing a DSP costs you anywhere from $2,400 to $5,000. Personally, I think that's conservative. But if you look at the financial impact, and if you're looking at this and thinking, oh, come on, Craig, those numbers are way too big. So fine, instead of 50 DSPs, lop it off to 5. If you're losing 2 or 3, that has just as much impact on a small provider as losing 23 for a modest size. It gets worse as you go up in size. And again, just take off a digit on that. I mean, we're talking about some serious numbers. Can you imagine if I'm working for Tony and I come into Tony and, hey, we've lost 10 DSPs this month, so here's my invoice for $40,000. Well, or you're going to say, you got to do something about it because I don't have 40,000. And that's the problem. Retention, we've talked to organizations who can't even calculate what their turnover cost is because they really don't want to know, but it's huge. So, you know, if you haven't looked at it, we have, if you go to dspmagnet.com/DSP turnover cost calculator, there's a calculator you can calculate your turn. You don't have to enter your name. You're not being added to a mailing list, I promise. You can calculate it. But, you know, that's one thing. Some people react, you know, Tony might react to my showing him, here's the $40,000 invoice. Scott and I have even contemplated offering a phony invoice or a generic invoice for people to use. But the financial cost is, again, the tip of an iceberg. How do we equate the emotional cost, the emotional impact? Your best staff are burning out because they're having to cover those extra shifts. Somebody comes in and they were planning on going to their kids' play that night, but they can't. They're stuck at work because somebody who was supposed to relieve them pulled a no-show. You've got decreased productivity. The negativity is palpable. It really affects everybody. It's draining. You can't fulfill your mission. I've heard so many stories of, well, we've had to close this site down because we just don't have the staff. Or we have a huge waiting list of people we could support and we'd love to support, but we just don't have the staff to do it. How do I measure that financially? So, you know, it may be in talking, if you need buy-in from a supervisor, are they emotionally motivated or are they more show me the bottom line? Any one of those slides can help, but, you know, And of course, all of this is affecting the quality of care. I know we'd all like to do more for the people we support, but realistically, we've got some challenges. So, getting buy-in, the status quo, making people aware there is a cause and consequence. If we don't change, if we don't make a change, if we don't accept the fact that despite all the challenges, the limitations of the waiver system on pay, the fact that everybody's hiring, the fact that there are more jobs than people to fill them, we can moan and groan about it, or we can't change that, but we can change what we're doing, how we act, our vision, our plans, our actions, what we say to ourselves. Stop voicing the McDonald's mindset. Stop talking about, I'm sure Scott covered it in the recruiting. Start sending the message, this isn't what you have to do. This is what you get to do. You get to help somebody live the best life possible. One of the DSP interviews we just did with somebody, how did she put it? Said, I love coming to work here. These people are now all my best friends. Another one told us that she has a son with autism. And she said, I don't know if being a mother of a special needs child has made me a better DSP, or being a DSP has made me a better mom. This is powerful emotional work. That's one reason for the exercise of what's one of the best outcomes you've heard in the last couple of months. Write those down. Share those stories with other people. It's going to be more effective whether you're advocating for higher pay with the legislators, whether you're trying to recruit people, whether you're trying to get donors or volunteers. Tell them successful stories, the outcomes. In the book, I interviewed a representative in Minnesota, and he shadowed a DSP. He ran into somebody he knew, and they said, why don't you shadow one of our DSPs tomorrow? So he did it. The news media was there. He was upset because the news media just wanted to cover the pay sucks issue. He was exhausted. He told me, I can't believe it. I kind of assumed, and I knew some of these people, they're my neighbors. I kind of assumed that, well, they're doing busy work, arts and crafts and little things to just keep them occupied through the day. He said, I found out they're providing real services. They're producing real products. They really are contributing to the community. That's not the message that we are sharing with others. It's not the message that's getting to the people who might be able to loosen those purse strings. That's why it's so important to find these stories. It makes you feel better. That's one of the purposes of happy visits. It not only connects you with the people that you're working with, but it makes you feel better about the job. It lifts the whole organization's spirit. All of this is about improving communication, making it easier, making it so people feel, I get something by working with you that I don't get working for Amazon or McDonald's or wherever.
The Reliable Drug and Alcohol Testing Clinic is a leading provider and convenient source of pre-employment and occupational type testing. Their clinic provides services to a wide range of private businesses, healthcare facilities, and municipal and county courts. Reliable is an independent, locally owned clinic. As a result, they provide their services at a lower cost than the major hospitals, have faster turnaround times on test results, and eliminate the long waits typically incurred at these larger facilities. To learn more, visit reliabledrugtest.com.